Would you like to learn what are the top 5 cryptocurrencies to accumulate as the bottom hits in order to make 100x pluses on your investment over the long term? This is not a bear market. However, what I will say is that there is potential for a bottoming event, which we haven't yet seen, and we could be able to get spectacular prices where we can hold cryptocurrencies for the next 3 years and be able to achieve 100x plus and greater the longer you actually hold. So if you're excited to learn what those cryptocurrencies are, then make sure you watch this video in its entirety and you slap a like on this video and join 112,000 fantastic people who are part of Team Suppo, learning and becoming a millionaire. So we've got a few things to get through today. So let me just make sure that I'm live and that you can hear me and that all is good, essentially. Yeah, sounds like it's pretty pretty loud, actually. It's not too bad at all. So let me just share this over to the good people of Twitter. There we are. It's getting sent. And let me just make sure I've got the live stream up. Let's say hello to some of you guys. Hey, Saverns, Canna Startup, Lindsay, Michael, Arturo, Patrick, Dejan, Michael Gomez, Wanglin, J Biz, Drew Solid, Blaze, Gianna, Amir. Good to see you, peeps. Good to see you. I love that you have come to join me on this Saturday night where we are going to go through some, I personally think, some incredibly useful stuff. But the cream of it is going to be these top 5 coins to accumulate. But in the interim, we are going to discuss where we stand as a market right now. Because there is most definitely kind of uncertainty, massive uncertainty. Are we in the midst of what will be a bear market that will take us through to the halving for us to then jump up from there or start growing from there? Or are we now in a period of still a bear trend, a potential bull run, and then 2023 be a recession and a bear market? That bear market and that real true bottom that we could be seeing for this particular season of crypto. So, one of my friends, and is actually a guru of mine in cryptocurrency terms anyway, this was the person that got me into cryptocurrency and helped me make my first investment. His name is RJ Rajendran. And as I tweeted the other day, he made a prediction on what he felt was going to happen with Bitcoin before the halving. And essentially what that would be is that he thinks that Bitcoin will be, and this is a guy who calls, well, back in 2017 anyway, when I first followed him, called cryptocurrencies extremely well. And he is very, very good at discovering the bottom of markets. And anyway, he said, just want to say Bitcoin will be in the 12k range and roughly 7k for a few days. So where he sees Bitcoin going, and this is a person that's been in cryptocurrency for 7 years, very, very experienced. He called the bottom right in the last bull run. In fact, I thought that he was wrong, but he was actually ended up being right. And he reckons that 12k is where Bitcoin is likely to go. Very, very similar to what Richard Hart said, which was 11k. And may hit 7k just for a few days. So essentially have like a wick down, like an extreme wick down that lasts a very short space of time. Literally like when we hit 25k Bitcoin recently. All this can happen before the next halving. So he's very, very careful about his wording there. So what he is essentially saying is that it's not going to happen necessarily in this bottoming event or in the next year, but it's certainly going to happen before the next halving, which will be in June 2024. And that would make a lot of sense because that is typically when you see a bottoming event happening. Is that, or I may be wrong and make a load of stripper cash. And just to show you kind of proof that he was actually right, back in March 2017, which was when I made my first Ripple investment, he was looking at Ripple at 0.006. And it subsequently did go up to $3. I actually invested in it at 0.008, so a little bit after this. And I sold for ultimately 38 cents. And then it did subsequently go up. So he is pretty knowledgeable when it comes to cryptocurrency. So I do feel that he's got a point. And essentially what I feel is that he is very, very likely to be correct at some point, because next year is when I anticipate it's going to be the cruelest year. Next year is when I anticipate it's going to be the bear market. I don't think we're in a bear market right now. I think we're still in a bear trend. Okay, now, yes, part of it's hope. Of course, hope's a wonderful thing. But, you know, you've also got to look at the charts and what the charts have been telling us. And essentially, you know, what we have had this season is not a euphoria, which is what we had last season and the previous season and the previous season before that. We have not had a euphoria. So as a result of that, we have not necessarily had a very harsh bottoming event either. But there is potential for Bitcoin to go down to 20k, as I let you know in the last video, where we had hit the 3-day death cross and essentially priced down into potential and going down potentially into the low 20,000s. So anyway, yes, so let me just take you through where I think we are at the moment. So where we look like we are at is very similar to what we saw in 2017 when we had a topping event. This was a time when we actually hit euphoria and we stabilized at around about 6k. So we were at 6k just before the euphoria, and 6k we hit multiple times after the top was in. Now, similarly, where we are at this point is that we have hit 30k a number of times. We hit it last February, we hit it last May to June, and we have hit it now. So essentially 30k is what 6k was all the way back in 2017. So I think that, or 2018. So I think that there is potential for, like what happened here, for there to be a bottoming event where we do hit a bottom, but then from that point we rise, and potentially that will be towards the end of the year. So let me just show you how this can be deduced. Okay, so if we have a look, this is the halving event in 2016, and that was the point at which Bitcoin started to go up towards the top at that point. So from the halving event to the top, what we've got is we have got a span of 18 months. Okay, similarly, if we look from the last halving, which was May 2020, to the top, which was 70k, that is 18 months. So both of them were 18 months between halving and the top, at least the latest top anyway. Now, what happened back in 2018 was from the halving of 2016, we actually hit a bottom at this point here, which was 30 bars. Okay, so if we have a look and see where 30 bars is from the last halving, then we can see that that would take us to around about October, November time. So October, November is where we could see the bottoming occurring between now and November. So what I am personally thinking is that what we had back in 2018 was we had a 6 to 7 month bottoming event. Now, we then had that massively shortened in the next bottoming event, which lasted only 2 months. So the likelihood is, and then the next one was 3 months. So the likelihood is that we are going to have, similarly, a short bottoming event, probably over the next 3 months. So between now and potentially July, August. And then I think that is going to be where the bottoming happens, where we hit potential 20k. And from that point, so that is essentially 3 months. 3 months of accumulation. All right, so if we hit that right, if that is the right scenario, should that scenario actually happen, if we hit that scenario right and we accumulate over the next 3 months, then for a last bullish phase, we could actually be in the money bottom picking here. But ultimately, I think that we are going to have 2 bottom picking events, and both of which could actually achieve 100x's. So the first one could be over this bottoming event. The next one will definitely be the 2023 bottoming event. This is where I imagine real money is going to be made. And I would recommend that you accumulate each month with a very simple strategy. And that strategy I'm going to give you in a minute. Now, you're probably wondering, what does bottom 1, bottom 2, bottom 3 is? So essentially what I'm going to be showing you now is I'm going to be showing you how were these bottoms identified, because it's very, very difficult to catch a bottom. Just like it's very difficult to catch a top. You can never accurately time it to catch a top, and at the same time you can never accurately catch it to get a bottom. But there is an indicator which showed every time this bottoming occurred, and every time they did occur, it led to fantastic gains. So look at this. So we had a bottoming event at the end of 2018. If you had invested then, you would have been able to ride Bitcoin all the way up to 70k and still be 10x in profit with Bitcoin right now. Okay, because the price went down to about 3,100. Okay, so roughly we are 10x where we are then. So that bottoming would have been a fantastic place to get in. The second bottoming was, of course, during COVID, and this went down to 3,700. So which is, again, another 10x roughly where we are today. And then, again, the bottom back last year would have enabled you to be able to get roughly a 2.2x with Bitcoin, but not only that, but with altcoins. And what actually managed to get us into what was the identifier of these bottoms is actually the Crypto Fear and Greed Index. Now, I've got this from another good source, actually. Crypto Crow University, I think, is actually a fantastic source of analytics, right? Now, what these bottoming, or how we were able to identify these were bottoming events, is what we see in the greed and fear chart, okay? So if we just have a look here, right, where we have got a bottoming in the fear, okay? So if you're looking at the top would be up here where we got greed, the top of greed, and down here is where we've got the bottom of fear. Theoretically, that is a bottom in terms of sentiment. But if we have a look, this was roughly end of August 2019, which was when we had the lowest. So it's about 4. Okay, so if we go back, this was when that singular bottoming in fear occurred. Okay, just before there was a rise to the first top, which was 64k. So actually, that was not a indication of bottoming, okay? So a single event is not an indication of bottoming. However, a cluster of bottomings is what can show us the bottom, okay? So as we can see here, in between November 2018 and early January 2019, we've got this cluster right here. And that cluster is this. We've got another cluster right here in the early part, in March 2020 through to end of April 2020, a cluster of bottomings. That's here. So a cluster of bottomings here show the bottom. A cluster of bottomings here show the second bottom. And then subsequently, another cluster right here. And this was May to July. A cluster of bottomings right there. And that is bottom 3. So how this is useful is bottom 4. So how do we know when we are hitting the bottom? How do we know when is the time to accumulate Bitcoin, if that's what you want to do, altcoins, because you're buying them possibly the absolute best time. And that is through a cluster. So as we can see here, a slight cluster is forming. So we've got a cluster here, cluster here. They are very, very finite clusters. And one is now beginning to form here. All right, so we are potentially, because this was 2.5 months, this was 2.5 months, and this was 2.5 months, nearly 3 months. So what we are going to be looking at is potential cluster, where we're not looking to be going up dramatically, but staying in a bottoming event, where essentially the fear keeps on bottoming. So we see an 8, we see a 10, we see a 13, we see some dark days. Okay, we see that the Bitcoin price maybe retraces a little bit. So if we have a look and see what the prices are today, we can see that, oh, it's 29k, that's not that bad. Or the other day it was 30k. That's not that bad. So everybody starts to not fear. So where we are at the moment is 13, whereas we was at 8, 9 the other day. So what happens is that we go up slightly, the fear reduces, and then we go down slightly, and then the fear increases. All right, but if we go down quite a lot, then there's going to be more bottomings of sentiment, more bottomings of fear, therefore allowing for another bottom. All right, so that is what we are looking for in order to get the next bottom. And that is a cluster of about 2 months of data. That will show that we've hit a bottom, and that will show that we probably are in as good a position to buy for the next period before the recession in 2023. So I think what's happening right now is just a reset. We're just having a reset on the euphoria that's been experienced across a load of indexes, mainly the stock market, property market, which have been in a bull run for the past 2 decades, whereas crypto, well, we haven't. So therefore, it's not a surprise that there's a slight decoupling between the stocks and other assets to crypto, because we, unlike stocks, have not been in like a 15-year bull market. All right, so anyway, so I think this is a reset on a lot of the euphoria that was felt, but next year is going to be when the repercussions are truly felt for what is happening this year. So I think that because of the US elections, I think that there is going to be an alleviation of fear. I think there's going to be a recovery in the market, a recovery in the sentiment, purely because if the current government want to be re-elected in its entirety, they need to make sure that the people feel good about re-electing them for the next term. And the only way they're going to do that is by essentially crushing a lot of the hardship that particularly the US, but the entire world is feeling at the moment. A lot of the tightening of purse strings, tightening on spending and borrowing. And I think that this needs to be alleviated coming towards the end of the year. And that is what's going to spark a bullish period, in my opinion, anyway. So anyway, there we are. And as I said in the previous video, I would be looking for, in addition to this bottoming event, I would be looking for Bitcoin to get into, because this is the Bitcoin stablecoin supply ratio oscillator. And typically what I use this for is to identify when is the best time to get into Bitcoin in terms of going in from stable coins and getting the best bang for my buck. So between -2 and -3 tends to be the best time. So when it happened in 2019, if you got in between -2 and -3, bang, look at the price go up. Again, if you got in between -2 and -3 in early 2020, bang, the price went up. And similarly down here in May, which was another bottoming, price went up. So I would be looking for these 2 events to happen in conjunction: the bottoming of crypto fear and the stablecoin oscillator going between -2 and -3. And you can get this on Glassnode, okay? And that is what I think will enable us to be able to identify the bottom has been hit. All right. So from this point now, I'm going to be talking about these top 5 cryptocurrencies. So just before I do that, let me see, because I saw there are a few super chats. So let me just get to those quickly. Thoughts on your video on Robert Kiyosawa's predictions? Any change in mind? Oh, I don't give a shite what Robert Kiyosawa has to say. He's just like any other kind of, pundit on the market. But thank you very much for the contribution, Nick Naef. I appreciate that. Suppo, you legend. Any insight into the Bruxelles Ape Club access? I've gone to top tier on Velaspad in hope. Suppo lamentary question. Anything new on Airwave access? Okay, so Bruxelles Ape Club access, I don't know at the moment. It's just a case of watching this space. What I will say is that the NFT market has somewhat suffered, I would say. It is going down. Like, I thought this was going to be I thought there's potential for this to be a fantastic hedge against cryptocurrency, but actually it isn't. Okay, because these are going down pretty much like the clappers. Actually, Bored Ape Yacht Club -51% in terms of spending, etc. The floor price stayed at 95, but if you think about it, that is 95 times 1900 now, whereas it previously was 95 times 4,500. If we're looking back to when Bored Ape was at its kind of heyday, right? So essentially, a lot of these NFTs have gone down. There is the massively decreasing volume. So yeah, watch this space. I think that the board, the Bluezilla Ape Club access is going to follow kind of bullishness in the market. I would say that Bluezilla's best project that they've got coming up is without doubt Moves, and that's coming out in literally 2 days' time. As for Airwave, no, nothing at the moment, and I would say that's a good thing, because it's not a good time for it's not a good time for any project to come out. All right, I hinted at a project earlier on my Twitter, which is this one, about a new blockchain coming out that's capable of 1 million TPS essentially, and basically double performance, 10x performance of Solana on transactions per second. This is in testnet, and very fast finality. But they're not going to be launching. They're probably not going to be launching for the next 3 or 4 months, as we see how basically we want to get to a bottoming event, a stabilization event, and then a growth event. All right, think of product life cycles. Okay, you've got intro, growth, maturity. Okay, so that is what we're going to be looking for. We are going to be looking for the decline to stop, for the strengthening to start, and then some maturity to happen. Okay, some growth to happen. Okay, so that is when I think they are going to be launching. So similar with Airwave, I think they're probably going to launch end of the summer, but we'll have to see. Thoughts on AOS Network? Bitcoinist sees it as a top 20 coin. Ready trades on Coinbase, and thoughts on MicroPay, 8Pay project. I'm not that bullish on AOS, if I'm honest with you. But but you're right in the sense that it's on Coinbase, and therefore is opened up to a massive amount of liquidity, which could do very, very well for it. But I never bothered with it. As for 8Pay, a lot of the metrics will tell us we're at 124k. No. Okay, no, essentially. I mean, yes, there's potential, but it's a risk. Essentially, it's a risk. Suppo, do you think Pulse X will 1000x? Maybe over time, over the very, very, very long term, but not initially. No, I think it will take a long time. I think essentially what we will see is the deflationary mechanism, a little bit like the halving. All right, so think of Pulse X and Pulse Chain very much like how you think of Bitcoin. Okay, over time it becomes deflationary, and as a result of that, demand is able to overtake supply, and therefore you've got mega growth. Okay, so what we had with Hex over the long term is we had obviously a very, very kind of slow start, and then eventually it ramped up, and that is what I imagine is going to happen with Pulse X and Pulse Chain. Jerry Banfield's in the house. Good to see you, Jerry. I watch Jerry streams a lot, so it's awesome to see a reversal going on here. Can you find us the next gem, Super? Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I am now going to open with this strategy here. Okay, so what is the simplest way to be able to, and not only the simplest, but also the most risk preferable strategy to be able to accumulate coins at the bottom? We don't know when the bottom is. We don't know if we've already hit it at 25k, or if we've got it at 20k or 18k, or if we can have a mega bottom to 11k, which then goes up from that point within the next few months. You never really know. So the best thing that you can do in cryptocurrency is actually to dollar cost average in $1,000 every month. You buy it at the price that it's at. So for instance, Ethereum today is worth $1,900. Right? If you had bought it about a month ago, it would be $3,000 or $3,500. But if you bought it last month for $1,000 and then you buy it this month for $1,000, you've essentially brought your average price to $2,200 rather than You've bought it all at 3,000, and now you've got to wait for it to go over 3,000 before you're actually making any profits. So you just bring your average down. You spend $1,000 a month, and you catch bottoms as you go. And as you go along, you are basically bringing your average price down. So what are the cryptocurrencies that I am going to be spending multiples of this, but this gives you a formula on buying strong cryptocurrencies in order to make 100x's down the line. Now, I'm going to say this because I am very much a long-term investor. Yes, I do my flips. There are lots of great cryptocurrencies for one cycle only, for one season only. And then in the next season, they're dead. There's 52,000 cryptocurrencies. Not all of them are going to still stay top of mind in the next cycle. You can imagine, you can hope for the best and say, oh yeah, my coin, yeah, so fundamentally strong, it's going to... No, it won't, okay? Because you had tons of coins in the last cycle that were in the top 100 that are dead now. You had loads of coins back in 2013-14 that were in the top 10 cryptocurrencies that you would never have heard of if they were mentioned today. Right, so a lot of cryptocurrencies are good for one cycle, but what you want to be doing is when you get a bottoming event is you are going to want to accumulate coins that are likely to be around multiple cycles. And that is based on the fundamentals, the funding that they have received, the technology they are introducing and how unique that is. And not only how unique it is compared to the competition, but how unique it is in terms of allowing for mainstream adoption of cryptocurrency. So what you want to be doing essentially is you need to be asking yourself, what is the next Bitcoin? Not asking yourself, what is the next seasonal cryptocurrency, like the next Suppoman necessarily, like what's going to be good for now, right? No, what you want to be doing is getting into the Cardanos, the Ethereums, but early, okay? You don't want to be getting into them when they're already top 25, top 50. You want to be getting into them early. So, on to the show. So what is the fifth one? The fifth one is NIA, and the reason why I've got NIA here is because this is the one that's got the least growth ahead of it. All right, so I am hoping that by spending $1,000 a month, well, multiples of it for me, I will be able to get an average buy price of $3 to $4. Where it stands right now is about $6. I would hope that if worst comes to the worst, I can get it for $2.50 or $2. Okay, who knows what could happen and who knows what the future holds. But I am imagining that over the next coming months, should Bitcoin go down to 20k or should the sideways action continue and then there's a smothering of that 30k support that it shoots through, just like the smothering of 6k support before it shot through and became 3k back in November 2018. Then, should that happen, then I imagine NIA is where I'm going to be making some enormous and fantastic gains. So what I've got here is that if I buy NIA at $3 to $4 from its all-time high of $20, that represents an 80 to 86% loss. Now, should it achieve its all-time high, that would be a 7x. But I imagine that over the course of time, it is going to probably 60x its all-time high. All right, no, not 60x. 20x its all-time high. So essentially, 7 times 20. What does that? What's that? A lot essentially. That is what 140x. So that is what could happen over multiple cycles. Okay, so anyway, yeah, so that is the discount I want to be buying NIA at. And by buying $1,000 a month, I can catch these prices. Then Mina. Okay, so Mina has achieved an all-time high of $9.91. Today, it is at $1. Okay, today is at $1, which is unbelievable. All right, this is a cryptocurrency that is incredibly promising. Mina has just committed to building a new ecosystem and spending nearly 9 figures on the development of its ecosystem. It's just starting out. It's just beginning. Okay, and at the moment you can get it for $1, but I am looking to get it for an average of 50 cents. Okay, so that would be buying it maybe 70, at 50, at 40 cents to get an average price of about 50 cents. That would make it 20x if I get it at average buy price, a 20x for it to achieve its all-time high, which I think is going to be massively exceeded over time as the ecosystem grows, because essentially these have got the creme de la creme investors in it, and I'll show you in a little bit. So this would be a 95% discount from its all-time high, and have a potential 20x to get to its all-time high. But I subsequently think that Mina could hit $50, okay? In which case, that would be 100x. 100x from 50 cents to $50, 100x. In at number 3, we have got Cadena. Okay, now Cadena, again, is a very fast transaction blockchain. Okay, it has been born out of JP Morgan, is my understanding. Again, like with Mina and like with other cryptocurrencies that are very much on the outskirts of the top 100, the blockchain's looking to be the next Ethereum or next Bitcoin, right? So Cadena is very much on the outskirts, it's building an ecosystem, its decentralized DEX is coming out very soon. So again, there's more to come for this particular ecosystem. Where it stands today is basically $2.40. Now, my average buy price, I want to get to about $1. Okay, I don't really want to get $1.50. However, if this is a very strong cryptocurrency, it's got very, very strong adoption, very, very strong interest, a good community. So I don't necessarily want to miss out should this not go below $1.50, but I think it will go below $1.50. Okay, I think it will go more down towards $1. Should we go to 20k Bitcoin, this will go down to more $1. In which case, this would represent $1 to $1.50 would represent 95 to 97% discount. Now, this is people who got it at the all-time high, $28. So a 97% discount would be phenomenal because it just allows for, when this grows over multiple cycles, it just enables for this to be a 100x potential minimum. Like this would be, to go down to $1 would be 28x. The more down it goes, the greater the multiplier potential just to get to its all-time high. And that was short-lived because the November bull run was cut short. When Bitcoin goes to over 100k, whether it happens before the next halving or whether it happens after the next halving, buying now or buying during the bottoming event, is going to be able to lead to fantastic multipliers down the line. Got Harry in the house. Good to see you, Haz. Good to see you, Haz. Right, so Cadena, very, very strong. Very, very interesting. A lot of institutional adoption. A lot of whale money. A lot of volume, a lot of liquidity. It's yeah, definitely a strong one. All right. Next, we've got Moon River. Now, Moon River was once upon a time a $500 coin, and that was not even scratching the surface of where I thought it would go. I thought this would be a $1,000 coin, if not more than that. And today, it is worth $20, thus representing a 90% discount. But I am looking for the price to go lower because I am expecting for Bitcoin to have more of a bottoming, especially over the next 3 months, but particularly during the recession. I want to be getting this at $10 before the next potential bull wave, which could happen at the end of this year. Okay, so I am looking for this to get to about $10 and buy it at an average of $10. This would be a 98% discount, and to hit its all-time high from that price would be a 50x. Now, because Moon River is very well known, it's got great liquidity, and it is tied to a blue chip. So a blue chip is Kusama. This is the smart contracts platform for Kusama. So I imagine that this could easily just achieve its old all-time high, which would be a 50x from that $10. But if this was to go to the $1,000, which I imagined it will, and Moonbeam are constantly improving and growing their ecosystem, in which case, again, 100x for something that could last a few cycles. And then the last one, you're going to know what the last one is. So just before I go to the last one, let me just see if there's any more questions. My big question with every currency is, will it achieve will it actually achieve significant user adoption and be able to retain that over the years? Absolutely. So that, I think, the most likely scenario, the best cryptocurrencies to hold for multi-cycles are ones that are already achieving some form of network effect and adoption. Okay, so if you look through what has already built on the platform and how many categories of cryptocurrencies are building on that platform, that is where you are going to know its potential effect on the mainstream society. Okay, so let's say with Cadena, all right. So Cadena have got decentralized exchange. They have got cryptocurrencies already growing on them, projects already growing on them. So what you are looking for, what you're looking for, as in the ecosystem, is you're looking for DeFi, NFT, metaverse, gaming, meme coins, decentralized exchanges, stable coins, all of these things. But the later you get in, the less the gains will be. Therefore, your Cadena, Mina, Near, Moon River, and the next one are all very early. However, they've already got significant network effect, but not enough. Not like what we've got with Ethereum, Cardano, Solana, Avalanche, and, well, Terra. But these are the ones that were already growing they already had quite a big ecosystem amongst lots of categories within cryptocurrency. The ones presented here do not. They are still very, very early. Slight more of a risk, but at the same time, better reward than what's already in the top 10, top 25. So, the last one is, you guessed it, and I see a lot of you have guessed it. It is, oh, bear with me. Let me get onto this thing. It is Moonbeam. Moonbeam. Now, Moonbeam, in my opinion, I was the first YouTuber to talk about Moonbeam. Okay? Moonbeam is one of the most promising cryptocurrencies, one of the most promising ecosystems in all of cryptocurrency. Why? Because it is a multi-chain protocol. That means that it is essentially able to garner adoption from all of the key blockchains and be more scalable. So what they've got is they've got scalability. Essentially, they can scale Ethereum and a number of, well, every blockchain, to be honest. They are the smart contracts platform for Polkadot. All right, so Polkadot is not a blockchain. Polkadot is essentially a protocol. All right, and the smart contracts element of Polkadot is Moonbeam. So when you are thinking about Moonbeam's blockchain or Moonbeam's smart contract layer, Polkadot's smart contract layer, it's Moonbeam. Now, Polkadot is already a top cryptocurrency, but it can't perform smart contracts. Moonbeam is the smart contracts layer. So essentially, Moonbeam, by rights, even though it's outside of the top 100, should be in the top 20, if not the top 10. Because this actually is what can grow Polkadot's ecosystem more than Polkadot can. Alright, so anyway, this is going to be my ultimate buy. This is where I'm going to be putting the majority of my accumulation. So essentially, I am looking to buy at 50 cents. Now, I've already started buying. I bought at $1.30, and then I bought at $1.13. Alright, next what I'm looking to do is buy it under $1. Alright, so I want to get my average buy down to 50 cents. That would represent a 98% discount on its all-time high, which is about $30. Now, there is another website that said it hit $490, but I think that was very momentary. Okay, but the all-time high was $30, and it's got 60x just to hit its all-time high. Just to hit its all-time high of $30. Now, I think that this could go to $50, $60, $100 over multiple cycles. Think about it. All right, it hit $30 with Bitcoin hitting about 60,000. All right. So if Bitcoin goes to 150,000 or even 300,000 over multiple cycles, okay, I'm not talking about this run or even necessarily next run, but it is going to eventually go to 1 million, and it is going to go to 500,000 as well. And can you imagine what the price will be when the money flow has been so heavily concentrated into Moonbeam over time? Okay, so it's not a guarantee. It's not financial advice. It's not going to happen necessarily. All right, if it was going to happen, Moonbeam would not be $1 right now. Moonbeam would be $30 if it was set in stone, if it was obvious. right? But it's not necessarily obvious. Sometimes you've got to read between the lines and see what's not said. Okay, see what's not said. What things are not saying at the moment. All right, that is where you can see the opportunity. All right, people aren't really talking about it. No one's really talking about it, and that is when you get in. When no one's talking about it, that is when you get in. Everyone was talking about Cadena, and back in November, everyone was talking about Cadena at that time, right? And then people were like, oh, is it a good idea to buy at $17? No, it's a stupid idea. It's a stupid idea. You buy before people get in, or don't bother, right? So people are now not talking about these cryptocurrencies, and that represents the time to get in. So anyway, so this is how I am looking to be spending my money on a monthly basis as we achieve a bottoming. All right, now just to show you a little few bits. So Mina ecosystem gets 92 million financing in advance of its lightweight blockchain. So obviously, if you know of Mina, Mina is the smallest blockchain. All blockchains are like 100 to 300 gigabytes in terms of size. But Mina is 22 kilobytes, so about the size of a few tweets, as it says. Now, their financing was led by FTX Ventures. Now, FTX Ventures gets involved in hardly anything, right? So the fact that they are looking to get behind Mina shows they see Solana-esque qualities, because FTX and Sam Bankman-Fried were behind Solana from less than $1. All right, that was what they went heavily into. They went into Solana. Solana subsequently went to $200. Right? So if FTX is in this, that means they are spotting this as the potential powerhouse. So $1 Mina today could easily be $200 or $300 Mina in the future. All right? So not only is it FTX Ventures, but also Three Arrows Capital, Circle Ventures, Pantera. Now, this is not even forgetting that we have also got Coinbase and Binance that are behind Mina as well, that have funded Mina. Right? So again, so Mina is very much in its early stages. And Mina is fantastic technology. Like, it uses zero knowledge proof. It's got a privacy layer. So, you know, it's designed to be scalable without, you know, relying on nodes to check each transaction. So zero knowledge proof essentially means they are not looking at the transaction, but they are proving it's true somehow. That enables speed. So again, this has got very, very bad scalability right now, so you get in now before they make the fixes. Once they make the fixes, it's too late. Similarly with Moon River, okay? So people say Moonbeam is more superior to Moon River. Okay, so Moonbeam is essentially Polkadot's smart contracts layer, and Moon River is Kusama's smart contracts layer. So Polkadot is a blue chip, Mina is virtually a blue chip. Okay, it's virtually a blue chip. So if you think of Polkadot like Ivy League, then think of Kusama as like just outside the Ivy League, so still an elite university, but not like of the creme de la creme. So anyway, so Moon River, as you can see, they've got a number of different cryptocurrencies across a load of different categories. So look, they've got dApps, DeFi, wallets, NFTs, bridges, oracles, APIs. So yeah, so they have got the beginnings of an ecosystem. Okay, so that means that there is actual adoption, and that is the most important thing. Adoption is the most important thing. Adoption and network effect is what leads to 100x's, 1000x's. This is how Solana has managed to go from being a $1 cryptocurrency to a $280 cryptocurrency. And the reason why is because it actually shows that everything you can do on Ethereum, but more expensive, like DeFi and NFT transactions, you can actually do a lot cheaper on Solana. All right, and that is what enabled the networking effect for Solana. Matic, which was another one, including Solana, that I was behind very, very early on. I brought you Matic at 0.0004 of $1, right? And this was because there was no ecosystem yet. It was just fantastic technology. There was no ecosystem, no network effect. As you know, kind of time has gone on, they've built an ecosystem, built network effect, and as a result of that, the price has gone up 1000x. So you want to be getting into things and accumulating things whilst they are very, very low in value, and no one is talking about it, people. When no one is talking about it, that is the opportunity. And the thing is that right now we are in this like uncertain limbo where we could be having a bull run at the end of this year. You know, November is typically, look, we've had sell in May and go away, right? I was thinking, well, we've already had a market top, so, you know, it can't really get much worse in May, can it? But it did. So it just goes to show, sell in May, go away is absolutely right. And the end of the year is when you typically have a parabolic stage, right? And so between kind of August and November, we can have a parabolic stage. After a whole year of basically bearishness, we can have a parabolic stage, and then we got the recession next year. So we could literally just be in the midst of a reset right now, a parabolic stage, then recession. All right? And as a result of that, if you accumulate now, you could be making bank before the end of the year, sell it at the end of the year, because it is very likely to happen. Okay? The halving is in June 2024. We've got this massive period here. This, like from the beginning of January to probably it's unfair to put to the end of 2024. So I would put around about there. This is recession. This is a recession. This is going to be a recession. So what we could have, essentially, if we just go on, you know, previous chart patterns, is what we could have is we could essentially have an expedited version of this. Right? So where's the brush? Okay, so what we could have is something along the lines of this, and then like that, maybe, and then that kind of thing. Maybe even like that, just before the halving, and then bang. Right? So that's what could happen. Yeah? And if we're looking at basically what happened here, essentially that could happen here. Alright, so we can have a bottoming event, go down to about 20k, and go up to maybe, yeah, who knows? Maybe it's wishful thinking. But, you know, if you think about it, you know, why this could happen is because we never had a top. We never had a market top. Every market cycle, we have a top, we have a bottom. We had a top, 20k in 2017. We had a bottom in the end of 2018. But this time we have not had a euphoric top, okay, where everything had that. Yeah, okay, we did have a kind of step up this time just around about February last year. We did have a massive step up where we saw Solana go from kind of $3 to $75. But we didn't have a euphoria stage, okay? We didn't, like, by looking at the, what's it called, this, the sentiment chart, net unrealized profit, we never had a euphoria stage. So if we didn't have a euphoria stage, by rights, we should not have a bottoming stage necessarily. So if we do have a top later on, so we have a bottoming, we have a top, and then we have a proper bottoming where we hit, you know, kind of 12 to 7,000, as my guru said, then essentially that would make a lot of sense to me. So anyway, that could happen. All right, so we just don't know. We don't know. Cryptocurrency is the biggest and best, cruelest, but also most exciting guessing game on the planet. We can be chartists. We can look at an X-ray and try and interpret what the next thing that's likely to happen. But nearly every single person has been wrong. Every single person has been wrong about what's likely to happen. Everybody was saying we were going to go higher than 70k. So everybody has been wrong. And that just goes to show that if people can be wrong about a bull market, people can be wrong about a bear market. Okay, so we'll just have to wait and see. And you've just got to accumulate when you see, you know, max pain is kind of hitting. And as you can see here with the sentiment, it is kind of hitting. Right, let me take some more questions if you guys should have any, or any particular cryptocurrencies that you would like for me to check out or something. Jerry Battlefield. So if I buy one crypto in June, would you suggest Moonbeam for a long-term hold? I would, yeah. I would. I think Moonbeam is kind of the next Ethereum. All right, I really do. And the thing is that Moonbeam is... Let's have a look at Moonbeam. Yeah, Moonbeam's 114, all right, which is, I think, fantastic. So no one's talking about it. It's outside of the top 100, so it's not considered a blue chip. But yet, look at that volume. Volume's insane. If you look at the markets, it's available on all the main exchanges. And yeah, I don't think it's available on Coinbase. Is it? I don't think it's available on Coinbase. So there's still that opportunity as well. So once it's on Coinbase, again, it's like almost one of those it's too late scenarios. And Moonbeam, I haven't got the investor list right now, but Moonbeam had a lot of the great and the good in it. A lot like Terra Luna, actually. Please, Stratos, Suppoman. Yeah, Stratos is much higher risk. Much higher risk. And, the thing is with Stratos is that, in my opinion, with Stratos, they need to work on what is their ultimate plan. Okay, so Stratos, they are built on Cosmos technology. Is it Cosmos? Yeah, Cosmos technology, or Tendermint, which enables them to have incredibly fast transactions per second and block finality, etc. But they have always been badged as content delivery and video, a data mesh, essentially, for video creation platforms. But that means it's basically completely reliant on one narrative. So if Stratos really begins to position itself a little bit more like Moonbeam, a little bit more like a fast transaction network that can build across multiple categories, that could work out more positively for them. Sometimes being niche is good, and sometimes in times like this, it's not very good. But I think Stratos has a very, very good future. I think Stratos is the very beginnings. And they've got, Fenbushi, and they've got some good Spark as well. And the guy who actually let me know about Stratos got me into Matic and Solana and what else? Bitmax subsequently became Ascendex. There's a VC that got me into those. So I was able to get into those at private sales. So those did really well. So therefore, if he thought those were good way before they became good, then similar with Stratos, it could be very good. But Stratos has never really had a great market. 8 weeks of Cadena investing. I don't care how much low it goes. I'll keep accumulating in this market. I'm not a trader. I'm here to buy and hold. Yes. You see, somebody was saying earlier about XCAD. So XCAD's a trending crypto today. I know KSI. I've been interested in XCAD since the beginning, but it's never gotten to a price that I'd be happy to buy at. So I would only buy XCAD at $1. And other than all the way back last year, it never refound $1. Okay, so therefore I've never been interested. Now today it's gone up 26%. People are FOMOing. I don't give a shite. It's going to come down. It's going to crash. Okay, it's probably going to crash to $1 again. Okay, and I'm fine with that. These day-to-day gains only matter if you're a trader. If you bought yesterday and it's gone up 40%, fantastic. You can sell it for a profit. But in my opinion, I buy at bulletproof prices and I hodl for the long term. Like Cardano, I have held since 2018. So I bought it in 2017. I sold it in 2018, and I rebought it, and I've stuck with it. I've held it onto it all this time, So I hold on to it because yes, it went up to $3 and came back down to 50 cents. But in my opinion, it's going to go to $12 and then back down to maybe $7, and then it's going to go up to $30, and then over the course of time, it's just going to keep on going up. So it's going to be like 5 steps forward, 2 steps back. All right, so that's just the way you've got to think about it. If you're holding for the period of like 3 to 5 years, believe you me, you get involved in something that's got multiple cycle appeal, adoption, network effect. They are building mainstream apps. They've got an ecosystem in the making. Then you have got the potential to make a mountain loads of money. Rather than just on a seasonal run. A seasonal run is fantastic. Yes, like Meta VPAD was like 1300x. Fantastic seasonal play. But what I look for the long term, because I'm long term in cryptocurrency, is I look for where can I invest my money? Leave it. Like my father, when he invested in stocks back in the 1970s. Okay, he invested when the stock market was just beginning, essentially. Well, not necessarily beginning, but it was in a very early stage back in the 70s. And he's held it like what, 60 years? No, right, maybe not 60 years. How long is it? 80s, 90s, thousands, 10s, 20s. Okay, maybe like 45 years, 45, 50 years. He's held them. Okay, some he sold, but for the majority, he's held them. And he's like, he started off with like a couple of hundred. Now it's worth like nearly millions. Okay, so just go show you just want to buy something at a really good price, something that's very, very rarely going to test, and just hodl it. And you know you're always going to be in profit. And even if the market takes 60% of the profits, you won't lose it all. Okay, you won't lose it. In fact, you won't lose really anything. And over the long term, you do really well. Suppoman review Metis. I've reviewed it. Upbeat. Oh, good to see you, Upbeat. So we got Harry and Upbeat in the house. Jerry in the house. Saturday's a good day to come, I think. Miranda's from Gala Games. Don't know what you're on about, but Gala Games. Let me have a look at that. So let me just show you my hit list. Okay, what is my hit list? Okay, so I've got multiple cryptocurrencies in this hit list. Okay, so I'm just going to talk you through them, all right? What the hell? This is bullcrap. There we are. What? Why is it doing that? Hold on. If I go to no, not that. Go to watch lists, popular MMOs. Should be down here somewhere. I may be able to get it that way. 3. Where are you? Not that one, this one. How do you stop it? Well, whatever the case, right? As you could see, it's got Near, Moonbeam, Mina, etc., like the ones I've just covered. But it's also got Decentraland and Steppen because they're strong as well. You know, Decentraland, I know it sounds weird that I would be interested in Decentraland when like there's more interesting out there. So for instance, Solace, right? Solace is a really good competitor to Decentraland, but they've been wiped out, right? And it just goes to show that despite, you know, essentially Decentraland looks like Roblox, whereas Solace looks like Returnal on the PS or Call of Duty on the PS5. Like the difference in graphical capability is so much higher with Solace than with Decentraland. However, Solace does not have institutional buy. Well, it did have, but since the metaverse has kind of gone away, only the blue chips in metaverse survive, and the ones that had the potential to be blue chips, they kind of get swept under the rug for a bit until bullishness returns back into the market. So Decentraland would be a strong one to get because it's blue chip in metaverse. So although it's not necessarily high quality, it is going to survive probably. Well, it has already survived since 2017. Multiple narratives. So again, I would be looking to get into this around about. Okay, probably won't ever go to like 20 cents. But I would be looking to get into it around about 20 cents. Like if that happened, I would definitely go for it. You know, get into it before the storm. Get into it like when it was in the calm, but not necessarily at its lows of 7 cents. So yeah, so I would be hoping to get into it. You know, it's gone most of the way there. So I'd like to get into it, 50 cents downwards would be good. Return from Jerry Banfield. I got Returnal from watching your streams, funnily enough. What do you think about Opulus? Don't know it. What do you think about Aurora? Don't know it. Saito, it's good. Metis, good. Sis, it's been around a long time, Sis. Velas, good. Rose, don't care. Immutable X, very good. Flow, also good. But, Flow is very much just NFTs, so it's not multi-narrative. And my favourites is multi-narrative. Suppo is Lena. Nice one, Smarks Kill Wrestling. Is Lena dead? Well, I think we both know the answer to that. DeFi is dead. Suppo, do you think Conv can integrate? Maybe. Hold on a minute. You see, you probably think, oh, Suppoman, you don't know what's going on. Bear with me a sec. I spoke with Convergence the other day because I was wanting to have an understanding of what is going on in the ecosystem. So let me just have a look and see if I can find a conversation. They're still grinding. Product development, Conv DAO. Resume private company deals. There's going to be a new offering soon. So yeah, so there's things going on with Convergence, but at the moment it doesn't really matter because the market doesn't give a shite what you're doing right now. You're going to get crushed. All right, but what this is showing is that there is stuff happening and they are actually working. So at the end of the day, it's not, things are still going on. Games, Near or Mina. It all depends, really. Oh, thank you very much. Let's have to... Because I was basically dying a death right here, so I needed a drink. Right, okay. Pyramid DAO, don't know it. Suppo still bullish on Everdome? Yes. Yes, I am. There's quite a few not celebrity acquisitions of Everdome, but good influencers buying into Everdome. I didn't get an Everdome NFT or Everdome land, which I wish I had. But yeah, I think it's solid. It's still 20x, 23x from its IDO price. So yeah, I'm still bullish on this one. Yes, still bullish. But is it the strongest? No. But it's good for being in the kind of mid tier of projects. Near is far better than Mina. Yeah, I mean Near is far better than Mina, but that's reflected in market cap. Like what you want is great project and great price. So yes, Mina. So Near, I really want to accumulate as long as it kind of loses 2/3 of its current value. But I wouldn't invest in it like now. That's just stupid. You're not going to make huge bucks from this point. Still bullish on IMX, yes. I will say that, IMX is mainly for NFTs. So if the NFT market has gone down, which it kind of has, then it's not great. Do I like Akala? It's okay. Not massively bullish on it. Anything else? Stay away from Commonlist. You like losing money. I mean, at the end of the day, if you're investing in cryptocurrency, you need to be, you need to kind of have a long-term mindset. You need to have a plan. And at the same time, you need to kind of bring your dollar cost average down. If I've been buying Convergence, I haven't bought Convergence recently, if I'm honest, because I think it could still go below 0.001. It could go to 0.0005 or 0.0003. If you bring your cost price down and buy more, like let's say you buy 3,000 at 0.0003, essentially that is the equivalent of having bought the same amount of Convergence for about 15,000 at current prices. So yeah, so therefore just wait, bring the dollar cost average right down. Will 20k Glimmer make me rich? Let's have a look. So it costs 22,000 today at current prices. Potentially, yeah. I think so. Over the course of time, yeah, could definitely happen. Yeah. I think it looks pretty, writing on the wall, if I'm honest with you. So it's wonderful to see you. I hope I can meet you someday. Oh, that's very sweet of you, Attempt. I appreciate that. How about Pogstarter? It's okay. I'm not a big fan of lottery-based launch pads. I think they're a joke. Solana bull price prediction for next bull. Bear with me. I think that Solana will be worth, $1,200. It could be worth more than that. Solana could be worth anything from 1,200 to 2,500, I think, in the next run. Like next cycle, when Bitcoin goes to 100k, Ethereum goes to 10 to 12 to maybe 15k, Solana could easily go to 1,200, if not 2,500. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. It's all about, at this point, it's all about maintaining the current network effect. It's all about making sure that you kind of quash the negative PR. So people go, oh, Solana goes down for long periods of time. It's not, when there's NFT minting going on, then it goes from, 70,000 transactions per second to 500. So you've got, they over time it's going to improve. I think Solana's still way better than Ethereum. Solana is way better than Ethereum. Okay, but that shows you how it works in cryptocurrency, that it's not about being technologically superior, it's about giving the appearance of being technologically superior. And essentially, because Ethereum has billions and billions of dollars going into it, it gives the appearance more of being more superior. It's number two. It's got the social, it's got social stats, social currency compared to something like Solana. But Solana's better. Solana's way better. I've bought OK Bears and I have bought apes on Ethereum, and I've bought OK Bears on Solana, and the process of Solana is beautiful. Alright, I'm not going to stay on much longer. I'll take a couple more questions and then bugger off, essentially. How low do you think Bitcoin will go, Suppo? I think during the recession, it could very well hit 12k, if I'm honest with you. Over the recession, it definitely could. I don't think it's going to bottom to that immediately. I think that the local bottom, the recent bottom, I think that's coming up is probably going to be 20k, maybe wick down to 18 at worst. But you really never know. But but that's what I think anyway. I think that that's going to be the depth of the danger for Bitcoin in the recent future. But over the course of time, I think it is probably going to go down to 12 again, because of a recession, extenuating circumstances. Pulse Chain in June. Pulse Chain's coming out soon. Do you think Pulse Chain will dip below 0.0001? I don't think so. I don't know. 0.0001 would essentially be the break-even cost, wouldn't it? Let me have a look. Yeah, sacrifices break even at 0.0001. I don't think so. It shouldn't, but it all depends on market circumstances. The deflation should kick in before the recession does. So as a result, and Richard Hart, he's all over the place. If you're watching him right now, if you're watching him on Instagram and on Twitter, he's buying billions of dollars worth of watches and Lamborghinis and the guy's gone mad. And his socials have just rocketed, and as a result of that, he will undoubtedly bring attention and money flow into Pulse Chain. That's just what I think. Right, okay, I'm going to make a move now. I don't see many other questions really. Which one has high ROI, Cadena or Mina? Very difficult to say. I think. Let me have a look first. So, Cadena is 92, and Mina is 88. I don't know. I think probably Mina has more institutional money into it. And so as a result of that, I think it's got better ROI. I think it's going to last much longer, put it that way. Because if you think about it, Cadena, yes, fast transaction blockchain. It's got that on its side. And origins with JP Morgan. But Mina is the smallest blockchain in the world. Everybody's going to know that. Branding-wise, it's phenomenal. Branding-wise, it's got the real potential. Think about it. It's like literally, it's almost like a revolution in blockchain. You know, we all are kind of aware of what blockchain is, but yeah, if you were to make a visual interpretation of blockchain, a blockchain like Bitcoin or Ethereum is kind of like a big supercomputer. You've got the monitor, you've got the tower, you've got speakers, you've got a large server, and Mina is essentially like turning all of that into this, turning it into like a little MacBook Air, which is like lightweight. You can take it everywhere. That is the branding here. So Mina has essentially revolutionized blockchain. So if it can be lightweight and scalable, then there we are. I think that we've got a smash hit on our hands. Whereas Cardano is another fast transaction blockchain. So there's nothing, necessarily, unique about it, other than that. Do you think Phantom can 30 to 40x in the next 2 years? Probably not next 2 years, but I would say between now and 2026. I think so, yes. Right, okay, so that's it, because I could take your questions all night, and I probably should. But it will ruin the watchbackability of my video, so I better call it quits. Crow is okay. Crow have pissed off its customers, and Chris, who's the CEO, has actually said he's looking to improve upon it. So Crow, I am hoping, despite their heavy marketing, despite they're all over sports right now, Crow, I would hope to get right back to maybe 6 cents, 5 to 6 cents. Take it all the way back to here, and then they improve things, and then it's shoot back to $1. It's got real high potential. They are marketing everywhere. They're not going anywhere. They have got probably the best domain name in cryptocurrency. Crypto.com. It doesn't get better than that. It doesn't. So there we are. So I don't think it's going to go anywhere. Give us some more alpha from Neo Tokyo. It's not worth it, because Neo Tokyo at this present time, NFTs are not doing that well. So, to have any alpha means you're probably just going to get into something that's a load of rubbish. How do I find out about new crypto coins? Well, it's all done through... it's all mainly done through, just having a massive eye on the market. Okay, and how you do that is joining multiple forums, multiple Telegram groups, being in communities. The best way to learn is community. And Suppoman's Crypto Masterminds is one of them. And there are others out there. Every crypto community has some segue within it that allows people to know of other projects. How I know about cryptocurrencies over other people is I'm very well connected to founders, to VCs, to institutional money, to institutions, and other YouTubers and influencers. So via all of these, the more networked you are, like it's almost like it's not what you know, it's who you know. Okay, so the more people you know, and the higher up they are in the chain they are, the more knowledge you find out from all sorts of different avenues. So that's how I know. And then, so because I get various opportunities landing on my desk, I am able to sift through them and see, what's the ones that's got potential. Now, I will say this, because people are dwindling now, and if we can get up to 240 likes, I will share the cryptocurrency that I actually did mention here. I will share it. If we get 240 likes, I'll do it. Glimmer or Mover, which one has more ROI? That's a tough one, actually. That's a tough one, because on one hand, Glimmer has a more stable circulating supply. No, sorry, Mover has a more stable circulating supply. And yeah, so, but Moonbeam will have way more demand. So it kind of equals out, I suppose. That's it. Yeah, I think that's it. So I will make a move now, and I will share it probably another time, I suppose. But thank you very much for joining me today. Are you paying attention to ENS domains? No, not really. Unbound Finance couldn't give a stuff about shit DeFi cryptocurrencies. Like, it's pointless in my opinion. Like, I'm sticking to what works, and what works is infrastructures. You know, infrastructures that contain DeFi, not getting into DeFi apps. DeFi apps suck. Anyway, so love you all. Appreciate you all for being here. I will see you of the next time. I've been the Suppoman, and you've been awesome. It is lights out or out.